this is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wands, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they never had one day. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This was for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing out there? It is a Sunday night, December 28th. I'm here. I'm Alex. How is everybody doing? I already see Nate checking in over here. Hello, Nate. How are you doing today? You guys get 2 nights in a row of Alex. I don't know what the hell you guys did to deserve this punishment, but you have me again for the second night hanging out today. Gonna shoot the shit, talk about a few more topics that I have thought up that I want to chit chat about with the world over here. And if any of you guys want to chime in, you're more than welcome to in the chat. So like we always do, wherever you're watching from, whether it be YouTube, Kick, Rumble, X, or Facebook, make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And if you're new here, please make sure that you absolutely go and give that like and subscribe and all that, because it's important to push it out and to make sure that more people see my lovely mug on the screen for everyone to come and say hi to. And if you want to follow us everywhere, you could just go search at the Alex Cuesta Show. I am everywhere there. My brother occasionally jumps on with us. He hates me, and so he's not on at all that often. I think he might actually be listening now. Hi, Dave, if you're listening. He's driving home from Jersey, so that's we hope he gets back to his abode safely. But we know he likes to be up late. He works late anyway, so he's actually probably more awake now than he is at any other point in the day. But we are here. We are here to have fun. We are here to chit chat. And let's get right to it, because one of the main reasons I wanted to do this show today is because earlier today I was just hanging out, and it's rare that I get the chance to actually watch my own TV and to put on something that I want to watch and not something that the kids want to watch. So I jumped on and I was just scrolling through, and FX had Spider-Man Homecoming on. And I was like, you know what? This is fairly kid friendly. My daughters, they can watch this. And I remember enjoying Spider-Man Homecoming a good amount. That was Tom Holland in it, Michael Keaton as Vulture. And I was like, cool, let's throw it on. So I toss it on and I start watching, and it's popping in the scene where Tom Holland Spider-Man is on top of the big rig, and he's trying to take down. He's using the tech suit that Tony Stark gave him for the first time, and it's funny because I remember when I first saw the tech suit, I was excited. I was real excited because I'm massive on the Marvel Civil War comics. I have all of them. I think I have the Civil War one right over there. And in my closet over there, I have like all the Civil Wars, not just the Civil War itself, but all like the side stories from Marvel Civil War. So it's easily my favorite event that Marvel has done. I've read all of it. I read it every once in a while, just pick it up. I love it. And so seeing Peter Parker get the suit for Homecoming that he had throughout part of Civil War. Now, it's not the same coloring, and in Civil War it was red and gold. Let me see if I can find this, because actually the Civil War suit is friggin' awesome. So Marvel Civil War comic Spider-Man suit. For those that have never seen the Civil War suit, this is definitely one of the... Let me see if I can get this in a better... No, get the fuck out of here. I don't want that. If I can get this in a bigger... Yeah, this is one of the most iconic That's a better one right there, actually. Let me do this one. Probably one of the most iconic images that you will see from Civil War. God damn it, I hate that Reddit does this, but see if we could zoom in. You know, just because I'm trying to find this, guys, don't get mad at me for not being prepared. I'm never prepared, okay? I am never, ever, 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 ever prepared. Let me see if I can find a picture I like and set on it. Screw it. Let's go with the first one I have because it worked. But anyway, so this is the suit similar to what I thought that, like I said, it's not the same colors, but the fact that the suit had a lot going on was, super like animatronic and things like that is what made me happy. So let's go to that. So this right here is what I thought of when I saw the suit for the first time that Peter Parker was wearing in Spider-Man in Homecoming. And I thought it was cool because in this suit for Civil War, Spidey has all the, he has the internal dialogue, like an AI, like a Jarvis type of thing, like he had. He named Karen in Homecoming. He had Karen. And he used that in part of Civil War. And it was awesome. It was a really cool part of it, seeing Spidey, who was in league with Tony at the time, hence why the suit is golden and red. It's in the Iron Man colors. And he was in league with Tony before, I don't want to ruin Civil War. It is a event 20 years later, God, this 20, is it 20 or 25 years old? When did Civil War? This is the graphic novel, so this is still written later. But when the hell did Civil War come out? Because this was a major event when it happened. 2007. Holy shit. That's insane. I was finishing high school in 07. So Civil War was an event in 07. So what is that? Damn near 20 years ago. The run happened in the comics before that too. So, I thought of this when I saw Homecoming and I thought, cool, right? So I'm watching the movie and I'm getting in through the scenes. They do the whole thing where you see the Vulture coming in, and he's does the cool little thing on the top of the freighter where they have their little battle, and then Peter gets caught in the cargo area. All right, blah blah blah. That goes on, and I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, this is the parts that I enjoyed, because I will flat out say I thoroughly enjoyed Tom Holland's Peter Parker. I thoroughly enjoy, what Tom Holland brings as Spider-Man. And because I think that he perfectly encapsulates the nerdy type of kid that Peter was in the original comics. He was a nerd. He was smart as hell, but he was very timid. He had things in him that he believed about, but he wasn't that outgoing guy. And I really think that Tom Holland does a great job with those quips and the way he is, but just the athleticism that he uses. He doesn't rely like so much on his strength like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker does. And he's not ridiculously good looking like Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was. He is that tiny, nerdy kid that looks like he could be picked on, and so on and so forth. So I really enjoy his Peter Parker, his Spider-Man. I absolutely enjoy Michael Keaton as the Vulture, and I enjoy Michael Keaton in most things, so I'm not surprised. But I thought he was a good Vulture. I thought the addition of Ned as his, fat, nerdy sidekick, I like him. I thought he was funny. I thought he, brought comic relief to the movie. And I thought he was a well-written character that, just the way he was. He was a high school kid that was hyped up that his friend fucking became a Spider-Man. He found out about it. Like, it was cool, right? I enjoy all that aspect. I even enjoy Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. Now, I know she's old. I mean, she's not old. She looks like super young. She's smoking hot, but she's supposed to be an old woman, and that's a liberty they took. But God, when you add fucking Marissa Tomei to anything, I'm okay with adding Marissa Tomei, okay? I'm not going to be angry when Marissa Tomei walks on screen. So I was okay with Marissa Tomei being smoking hot Aunt May and even having Tony Stark hit on her a few times and things like that. I thought that was actually a really funny touch that they added in that. But as I'm watching this movie, I'm looking at it, and now all these years later from when Homecoming came out, because again, when did Spider-Man Homecoming come out? It came out, let's see here, Spider-Man technology. Spider-Man Homecoming. It came out in 2017. So now, what was it? 8 years later now? 8 years later, I'm watching Homecoming. And as I'm watching it, I'm noticing there's parts about this I really don't fucking like. Absolutely parts about it I don't like. So caveat I see you saying here, I remember I worked at a bookstore back then. It was a pretty big deal. Yeah. Yeah, Civil War was a massive deal. It was a big deal. It was one of the biggest things that Marvel's ever done. I still think. I don't know what the gross numbers are. I don't have that shit off the top of my head. Infinity Gauntlet probably outsold it, which I have Infinity Gauntlet up there as well. But it probably outsold it. I don't know. I don't know what the raw numbers are, money or anything, but Civil War was easily one of the biggest comic book events of all time. I think it potentially became the biggest event of all time when it happened. But yes, it was a huge deal. And I mean, so continuing here, I remember today I'm watching, and then I'm noticing there's parts that I really don't fucking like. Number one, and I don't know if this is recency that's causing me to dislike this, Zendaya being MJ and it not being Mary Jane. She's Michelle something. I don't know what the fuck her last name even is. That, as I'm watching it today, I'm looking at it going, I fucking hate this. I hate this. I hate that Mary Jane is not Mary Jane. MJ is not Mary Jane. She is not that redhead, good looking actress, model level girl that is way out of Peter's league, but for some reason likes Peter. And he is infatuated with her, but too nerdy and scared to tell her. I was not a fan of that. I looked at it today and I'm like, I hate that. And I think also what I hate about it is Zendaya's character portraying just MJ was the antithesis of everything that Mary Jane Watson is supposed to be. Mary Jane's popular. Mary Jane's bubbly. Mary Jane, I think a few of the runs, she's like, well, a cheerleader at the high school, or and she's an actress and she's a model and she's everything. She is gorgeous and she's a stunning looking redhead. That's what she's supposed to be. Where Zendaya is every single thing that she is not. Zendaya is basically Daria. And if people remember Daria back in the sitcom, she's just very drab, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I love Daria. But Zendaya is basically Daria. She's very blah. She's smart, but too cool and above it all. And I'm not gonna. I'm gonna point out racial things. And when they were going into the Washington Monument, and she's like, "I'm not going in something built by slaves." And the teacher, who's supposed to be like the math league or whatever it is, their intelligence club, whatever the fuck it is that they go to, he's supposed to be the leader, and they always portray these people as bumbling idiots when usually any of the teachers that were like the math league teacher or like debate club or any of these like academic competitions were typically some of the smartest people that I knew in high school and stuff like that. They were really smart, and they always portray these people as like the bumbling idiots, and the kids know more than them. And Zendaya's character just sucked. Okay, she was bad. The fact that she wasn't Mary Jane, but they called her MJ, whatever. Okay, I didn't like her, and it's and I really think I didn't like her when I first saw it, but I really, really liked Tom Holland's Peter Parker. And I remember just the hype going into it because before this, the only other time we saw Tom Holland's Peter Parker was during Civil War when they did the the MCU Civil War. And he had come in and he's on the side of Cap, I believe. No, he's on the side of Tony because, again, yeah, obviously he gets a suit. And he comes in and he was just really good as Spider-Man in Civil War. He wasn't overly top strong. He was very quippy, but he was acrobatic. He was a nuisance. And it was awesome. They portrayed him very well. Even though I really think the MCU has struggled now especially we're seeing that they took a bunch of B-list characters and made them their A-list with Iron Man, with Cap, with Thor, you name the Avengers that they had currently, that they're a bunch of B-listers in the comic world before all that. Because in reality, Spider-Man is the center of the Marvel universe. Again, Civil War hinges on which side he goes on. The story of Civil War is about the story of Spider-Man and what Spider-Man does. And Spider-Man for years has been the center of the Marvel universe. Yes, Fantastic Four are massive. They handle a lot of galactic level stuff. They've been great forever. Fantastic Four is one of the mainstays. X-Men, massive. But if you're talking about the center of the Marvel universe, it's been Spider-Man. And I think the MCU is hurt because they haven't had the rights to Spider-Man. So it has certainly hurt them. And, I think Fox had it before, but Fox, Sony, they knew what they were doing initially when they sat there and they're like, hey, we're going to buy the rights to Spider-Man and all of his characters. We're going to buy the rights to the Fantastic Four. We're going to buy the rights to X-Men, because they looked at the comic book landscape and said, these were the three big ones. And Deadpool at the time was big too. They bought them. They looked at it and said, these are the big ones. These are what people buy comics for. The Avengers are big. The Avengers are great. People like the Avengers. But even in the Avengers, it's, what is Reed Richards figuring out? What is Spider-Man doing? How is that affecting what's going on with the Avengers? Are the X-Men involved? And again, another big crossover was the Avengers versus the X-Men. Wasn't as big, pretty disappointing in terms of how it played out. But it was big because the X-Men and Spider-Man being involved, and Spider-Man's flirtatiousness with, is he a mutant, right? That's come along a few times during the Spider-Man run and with the X-Men and stuff. So the MCU not having Spider-Man in its universe up until the last 5-6 years, and they have fucking flubbed it ever since. But I think it's hurt now as we're going forward, because we see them coming up with Doomsday. They've had no real trajectory or where to go or who to focus on, because again, you took a whole bunch of B-list comic book people, comic book heroes, and you made them your A-list, where they have a lot of stories. But again, with Iron Man, you didn't follow Iron Man's fucking evil people. You did your own thing, which was fine, I guess. But when you introduce the Mandarin, he becomes an actor, and the Mandarin is massive thorn in Iron Man's side. One of the best villains Iron Man's ever had. In terms of Cap, you have a little bit of Red Skull, which was good. You have a Hydra, which is kind of everywhere flirting in there, but there are other people that Cap could have in there. And I know you brought Bucky in to not give him the fucking shield. They did a really good job making Falcon a great hero, even though he was a side hero. They changed up Falcon's powers completely. Falcon wasn't a military man with the suit that was just super skilled at using it and a normal human. Falcon had those fucking wings, and he could call falcons and birds. That's why he was called the Falcon. Super strong too. But they changed up his whole character and made it work. And then they made him Cap, and they fucked up Anthony Mackie's Falcon completely. But going back, so I think I had blinders on for the MJ thing, because I really, really, really liked Tom Holland, and I was hyped for Tom Holland and his portrayal. And from what I saw in the beginning, I was enjoying watching Tom Holland not only be the kid in high school, his friend Ned being nerdy and, fitting him well, Marissa Tomei being smoking hot, but also Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man, and also Michael Keaton's Vulture. I was enjoying all those things. So I was like, I think I was willing to look past MJ, even though it still bothers him. But this time watching it, I couldn't. Again, not only them race swapping Mary Jane Watson, and now I guess in the new terms, dead naming Mary Jane Watson, because she's not Mary Jane anymore. She's Michelle something. Don't know what the fuck her last name is, but there's an J there that makes her MJ. And the fact that her and Peter aren't super close. He has another love interest, which I'm fine with. I'm actually fine with them not being love interest right away and kind of setting that up. I'm okay with that, actually. In terms of a storytelling thing, I'm cool with that. On to my next gripe. Flash Thompson. typically Flash was always the big, strong jock. And real quick, I'm going to get the caveat saying I never liked that at all with Mary Jane. Agreed. And him saying she was terrible in the first two, but the third seemed to tone down her SJW crap. Um, Here's the thing. I mean, Roland, we'll be talking about this on Tuesday, possibly. But I'm going to get to the fact that I don't believe I've seen the second one. I know I didn't see the third one. I don't think I've seen the second one. And mainly because I think subconsciously I really fucking hated the things that they changed, that I was happy just to get my dose of Tom Holland Spider-Man in the Avengers crossovers and anything there. And I didn't give a shit about seeing anything else that they were going to change. I can't remember if I saw the second one. I can't remember if I saw Far From Home. I know I didn't see No Way Home, where they brought back Toby and they brought back Andrew, and it looked good, and everyone said it was good. It looked good. But I think subconsciously I'm watching and I'm going, this is possibly why I had no fucking interest in the solo Spideys. And I know there's another Spidey coming out. Maybe I'll take the time to watch the other two. But let's get back to Flash Thompson. So Flash. He was supposed to be the all-American jock. Big, strong, popular, typically a football player portrayed as. And he always, always, always picked on Peter. And caveat, I saw that you filled them out and sent them back. I am always slow as fuck to respond, but I will have things set up and ready for Tuesday. Don't you worry, and I'll be sending you some stuff. But Flash was always the big, strong jock. Again, like I said, typically football player, probably plays basketball and stuff, but he was like the jock, the popular guy in school. And they portrayed him terribly. In this one, again, race swapped, because usually he's a white dude, sometimes blonde hair, sometimes dark, but big and strong white dude. I think they portrayed him as a big, strong black guy at some point. But again, still kept with the trope, even if they did, of athlete, star athlete, people like him. Okay? And he's in here as a race swapped Indian who is fakishly smart and incredibly selfish. I don't know what they were going for, but it's shitty. Because number one, Flash was always eventually supposed to either date or be really close with Felicia Hardy, who then becomes Black Cat and is somebody that Peter, even though he's in love with MJ, Black Cat is a vigilante who is on the skyscrapers and stuff, same as Peter, and they kind of share a love interest. And as you go through certain comics, they do have love interest and things like that, but they share interest, they flirt. And Flash is kind of that connection because he's always around Felicia, and Felicia's a popular girl in school. And also with Gwen Stacy, Flash is also flirting with her because she's also popular. You take that element of Flash away, and that whole foil of Peter being nerdy, small, and weak, and getting picked on by a guy like Flash who has everything in high school, to then now get this immense power, this immense responsibility that he has, and then resisting using it, continuing to let Flash pick on him in school, continuing to hide the fact that he's a superhero while he's there to protect the people that he's close with and that know him, including Flash Thompson. It takes everything. It takes that whole element away that Stan Lee was going for. Because I thought they did a real good job in Andrew Garfield's, where Uncle Ben is there. Andrew is a nerd in school. He is being picked on by Flash Thompson, okay? And when Uncle Ben passes away, Flash goes to try to console Peter in like a human way. And Andrew Garfield's Peter turns him and slams him into a locker. And instead of him getting angry, Flash, shows a decency about him, a human side, a high schooler side, saying, I get it. You lost your uncle. I get it. It's okay. And then Andrew Garfield storms off. But I thought that moment of portrayal was fine because it was, again, the nerd manhandling the jock, and he was already a douchebag and stuff like that to him at points in the movie. I was okay with that. I thought that was a cool portrayal of Flash Thompson because even in the books and the comics, he does have those human moments with Peter. I thought that was a real good opportunity and very well done. With this one, there's none of that opportunity. Zero. Because you have taken the character of Flash and turned him into just a selfish dude who has no real more redeeming qualities or unredeeming either. He's a selfish coward, which, again, isn't true for what Flash Thompson even was in the comics. Because there were even times where Flash would try to be the hero against some of these supervillains and get swatted away, but try. And then Spider-Man would come and save the day. Peter would be there. He'd come and save the day. So that's another thing that I realized I absolutely hated about Homecoming. And those are, there's probably some other gripes. Overall, I thought the movie was okay. They were setting up, Childish Gambino to be a supervillain, which never kind of came out because he's Miles' uncle, and Miles' uncle eventually becomes like a minor villain in the Spider-Man world, especially in Miles Morales' world when Miles becomes his own version of Spider-Man, which I have always said where they have fucked up with Miles Morales is not the fact that you can't make a second Spidey-ish type of character that has his own characteristics. The camouflage is cool. Like the shit that he could do is cool. I don't mind Miles as a character. The problem is you kept him in New York. There are plenty of other major cities with crime and that you can go and take him and bring him over there, and he now becomes Chicago's, Detroit's, Houston, pick a fucking city, right? He can then go and become their Spider-Man, Seattle. But we can go to any of them. They have tall buildings too over there. It's not like, not New York tall, right? New York's significant, but you have tall buildings. You can still web sling around. That's always to me been the biggest mistake of Miles Morales, is that they kept him in New York. Real easy. Hey, we have family in Chicago, so we're moving to Chicago. Boom. And now he is Chicago Spider-Man. And you can have your whole stories with different style villains and Miles doing his own thing, separating himself from Spider-Man in New York. But I digress. That's just me giving unsolicited advice that no one's ever going to fucking listen to at Marvel because they have destroyed all their credibility with anything. But anyway, so caveat Ty saying I didn't care for Across the Spider-Verse. That's, again, I only saw the first Miles movie, whatever it was. I forget the name of it. I only saw I don't know if that's Across the Spider-Verse. I know they made 2. Have they made 3 now? But I only saw the first one. I didn't mind the first one. I think what is it? Is Nick Cage getting his own as Spider Noir? I think he's getting his own little thing as Spider Noir. That's pretty cool. I didn't mind it. The only thing I minded is that Peter wasn't really involved. And I get it. You're trying to separate Miles and kind of like do something cool with him, but Peter not really being involved and kind of being a moron was annoying. The original Spider-Man just kind of being an idiot. But that overall, I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think the Miles Morales caveat Ty saying I didn't see the first. I saw that was the only one I saw. I didn't see the second. And go back if you want to see a decent, go back and watch the first. First isn't bad. The first is pretty good. I liked it. They have the little spider pig and stuff too. It was pretty cool. It wasn't bad. I did not mind the first one at all. But yeah, so overall with Homecoming, I look back at it and again, I think I was blinded by the fact that I really like Tom Holland and I loved his portrayal of Spider-Man. And I really like Michael Keaton's Vulture. And I thought Michael Keaton's Vulture was really good. And, I thought like the fighting was good and the choreography was fine. And again, the Civil War suit reminded me of the Civil War suit, the way that Spidey had all the electronics going on and stuff like that. And I liked the mentorship that they were doing between Tony Stark and Spidey. I thought that was actually a cool element to kind of bring him into the fold and stuff like that, make him kind of a junior Avenger. I liked all that. I thought all that was fine. But now that I look back at it, there's certain things that are kind of unforgivable as a comic book nerd. Your full-on race swapping and personality swapping of MJ. Because you know something, your race swapper, that's one thing, right? Annoying. But if you race swap her and still make her MJ, right? And it's not like Zendaya's an ugly girl or an ugly woman because she's a woman. You could have very easily portrayed Zendaya as, this budding future star who is going to be in movies because look at her. She's in fucking movies, right? This budding future star who's going to be an actress. That's her goal. She is very outgoing. People like her. She's Peter's neighbor. All these things. You could have done everything, kept the race swap, and at least kept the charm, right? Of MJ. And called her fucking Mary Jane. But they didn't. They decided not to do that. That bothers me. They completely and totally changed the whole character. That was annoying. And then as I look at it, it's minor, but it's bothersome. Flash Thompson. Just being nothing like himself at all, in any which way possible. It is those are two things that I don't know if I could look past. And again, I don't remember if I saw the second one. I know I didn't see the third one, which I do want to see, because I think it's cool that they brought back the 3 Spider-Men. I know a lot of people say that Tobey was their favorite Spider-Man, and I think it's because Tobey's movies were the best. The third one sucked. I don't care what anyone says. Third one was shit. The issue with Sam Raimi killed everybody. And that's the biggest issue. He just killed all the evildoers and there was never a chance for him to come back. That wasn't great. But it's like the first Spider-Man is obviously legendary. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin's incredible. I thought James Franco as Harry was really good. Everyone fit. I thought that the second Spider-Man is arguably the greatest superhero movie of all time. And I will put that up there against the original Iron Man, up there against the early Supermans. I will put that up there against, Dark Knight. And I think Batman Beyond's better in Dark Knight. But people will put Dark Knight up there, right? I will put Spider-Man 2 up there as the greatest superhero movie of all time. Easily. Because it just had everything going for it. Doc Ock was portrayed beautifully. His motivations were incredible. James Franco taking over and having that vitriol against Spider-Man and palpable, and seeing the way Peter Parker was reacting, trying to already have that issue of his personal life getting involved with him being a superhero and intertwining him and MJ's relationship getting there into the next level, even though she was with Harry. Like, the whole dynamics were perfect if Sam Raimi just didn't fucking stop killing everybody. But I'd argue that movie is right up there as the best superhero movie of all time. My biggest issue with Tobey Maguire is, number one, the organic webbing. Fucking stupid. Funny. I like the first movie where he's trying to figure out, he does a Shazam, and that was good. Funny. I still like leaning into the nerdy side that Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland did, where they created their web shooter and they had the web slingers and stuff like that. That shows the intelligence. And the thing about Spidey has always been, he is smarter than basically everyone he fights. And he doesn't win fights through brute strength. He wins fights through outsmarting them. And I think people truly forget, by watching the MCU's version of Spider-Man and Peter Parker, he is Reed Richards, Hank Pym, Stephen Strange level intelligence. Bruce Banner, like, he's up there. He is A plus Omega genius level intelligence. And that's what made Peter special, is because he was typically weaker than most of his foes. He's weaker than Scorpion, much weaker than Venom and Carnage. The arms of Doc Ock fucking mangled him all the time. He was weaker than Killer Croc. He was not stronger than any of these people. Kingpin fucking threw him around. Rhino, he could take hits from, but they hurt. He never wanted to take direct hits from these people. He didn't rely on his brute strength. He outsmarted all of them. Electro gave him fucking headaches. But he was smarter than all of them. Even the smartest ones. He was smarter than Otto Octavius. It's why he was able to defeat them. And I think that the biggest knock against Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is he used far too much brute strength in his feats and not enough intelligence to win. And that's a small gripe, right? Because the three Tobey Maguire movies are the best. Again, the third one did suck. People forget the third Spider-Man sucked. It was not good. The dancing fucking scene was terrible. I get it. They're trying to portray like this different version of Peter who's cocky and who's mean. But God, him dancing on the steps is all time bad. Killer Croc. Yeah, Killer Croc is a Batman villain. I forget his name, not Killer Croc. The professor that became a crocodile. God, I can't think of the name. Caveat ties, you're correct, but I called him Killer Croc. God damn it. But overall, that was portrayed the best. The first two movies are really good. The third one sucked. In terms of Andrew Garfield's, you fucking killed Gwen Stacy. Why? Like, some of these creative decisions are terrible. I thought Andrew Garfield was quippy. I thought that was good. I actually like the choreography of Andrew Garfield's. Andrew Garfield's just too goddamn good looking. The Lizard, yes, thank you. I got too big in britches there. But even Killer Croc is stronger than Spidey. Anyway, I thought Andrew Garfield was just too good looking. You can't tell me that anyone's picking on that kid. Even if he was a drama kid in high school, he was the popular drama kid that everyone was cool with because he was just a good looking dude that was smart and people liked. Okay. So Andrew Garfield being the nerd that people picked on, I think took me out of that kind of fantasy aspect of things because no one's picking on Andrew Garfield. I did think Andrew Garfield portrayed the intelligence side and they did a good job of diving into how smart Peter was. I thought the fight choreography was good, but overall, he probably is in third place. And it's not, I didn't think he was a bad Spider-Man, but he's a third place Spider-Man. Tom Holland is my favorite. And that goes back to, and I guess it's kind of like weird to say Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man, but I haven't seen the other two movies because I was happy seeing him in the Avengers and things that he does in there. But overall, I think he was my favorite. I got to go back and watch the other two. That's just mean to not do that. But yeah, so looking back on Homecoming, the unforgivable things from a comic book nerd kind of kept it unforgivable. So Caveat Ties coming in saying Spider Noir almost looks just like Vigilante from Caveat Ties. Yeah, he does. He has that look. I call it, for lack of better terms, like the Frank Miller Sin City aesthetic, which I know has been around forever, that kind of aesthetic of the noir. But that's like kind of the best like modern thing that I can derive from. And I think that's 100% what they were going for when they did it, is to have that kind of Sin City type of look and stuff like that. Caveat also coming in saying Toby was my favorite, and that's fair. I know Toby was a lot of people's favorites. Toby was an absolute ton of people's favorites, and I can completely understand and see why. Like I said, I like Tobey Maguire's movies. I will rank the second Spider-Man with Doc Ock as one of the greatest, if not the greatest superhero movie of all time. He was just too goddamn strong. Nate saying Nicholas Hammond is the best Spider-Man. Listen, Nicholas Hammond's a fucking legend. That jingle will forever be in modern parlance. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Swings his web, spins his web, any size. Catches villains just like flies. Look out, here comes Spider-Man. And again, Spider-Man 1 doing the whole entire jingle with the bum in the subway singing the song. Like, that was an awesome Easter egg. But yes, Nicholas Hammond's a fucking legend. And Caveat Ties reminded me of Killer Croc and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's my take on what's going on with that. And now, my looking back on what the fuck happened with Spider-Man Homecoming. Now maybe I'll do that. Maybe I will make it my homework to eventually watch Far From Home and then No Way Home. And we'll come back and I will talk about Far From Home. I will talk about No Way Home and I will give my views on how I felt about both of them and if there was an improvement in Daria Zendaya's portrayal of Mary Jane. It will be Mary Jane, right? Because I'm not going to give in to the fact that she's just MJ. She's Michelle. She's there to be Mary Jane Watson. You don't call the bitch MJ and if she's not Mary Jane, okay? So I will give my 2 cents on MJ, Mary Jane, and see if she got any better. And I'll kind of give a review. I'm faintly think maybe I saw the second one now. I don't know. Maybe I did. But let's jump in because there is a topic that's near and dear to me. I have been seeing rumors that there is possibly a new Dragon Ball anime coming out. And it's not going to be in the sense of the way Daima was, where it was kind of a prequel to Super after Dragon Ball Z ends in between. And it's meant to be a more manga faithful Dragon Ball Super. And apparently this people are deriving this because there was like a leaked Toei like document internal basically saying that they are doing something like a manga faithful anime. I don't know how they worded it, but there is rumors saying that we are going to be getting a manga faithful from Toyotoro's vision, Dragon Ball Super. This excites me because I have thought that the manga has been better than the anime forever. Um, I don't know what they should do about Battle of Gods and Resurrection F because those are two I thought the movies were much better than their versions in the anime and in the manga. They kind of they skip over it, I believe, in the manga. So I think that's just how they should do it. I think they should basically say, hey, if you are curious about Battle of the Gods or Resurrection F, go watch. But it's kind of tough because Resurrection F introduces Golden Frieza. So what to do. We'll see how they handle it. But in terms of getting more manga faithful, God, it's going to be so much better. Because what people don't know, if you didn't read the Super manga, there is no Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. That does not exist. That is anime only that Goku does to try and keep up with Hit. In the manga, he just continues to use his incredible battle sense, which the anime took away from him. He uses his battle sense to continue to evolve as a fighter to defeat Hit, who was also evolving as a fighter and increasing his time skip to compete with Goku's incredible battle sense. And I'll say battle sense again. But the thing that people lose when it comes to Goku is Goku's aloof, Goku's a goofball. Goku has said multiple times that he doesn't care about being like a hero or justice or things like that. He doesn't want you to blow up his fucking planet or his universe or his galaxy. Don't fuck with his family or his friends. And if you're stronger than him, he wants to fight you because he wants to see how he measures up. That's it. Those are kind of the traits of Goku. He's a fierce friend, a fierce family member. He likes to be alive, so don't blow up his shit. And he likes to test himself. He's a martial artist to the core. So when it comes to the adaptation, I'm really excited to see how they adapt the tournaments this time. Because like I said, the whole entire Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken is fake. That doesn't exist. Watching Vegeta mentor Kaba is better in the manga. He takes more time to break him down, to make him into a Super Saiyan, to teach him how to become strong, to fight, and to keep the pride of the Saiyans. It's awesome in the manga. It's done better. Toyotaro does a great job. Now, mind you, while Akira Toriyama was alive, it wasn't like Toyotaro was working on his own. These were these two working together, okay? And Toyotaro essentially drawing more than story creating during these times because Akira Toriyama just didn't want to draw it all on his own anymore and uses the few assistants that he had. He had Toyotaro be his main artist because Akira Toriyama went on record saying there are times where I don't know if I drew it or if Toyotaro drew it. So, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing up until God, Toriyama's death, it was heavily involved with Akira Toriyama. So seeing the differences in the anime that Toriyama was allowing Toei to do was always a kind of annoying to me. Because one of my biggest gripes was the Tournament of Power. Because when you get into the Tournament of Power, they change so many of the ways and of the things that go on. Typically, in the manga, you have the humans out really fucking quick. There's no fuck around there. There is no big moments for, the TN and stuff like that. And they're gone, man. As they should be, right? They're weaker fighters. And it then relies on the powerhouses to come and do powerhouse things. And you see the overcoming of things more. Like, for example, I'm going to do some spoilers here. Toppo. Toppo's not defeated. Toppo, he is portrayed so much better as the god of destruction when he becomes one. And he's fantastic. And that's Vegeta's foe. Kefla is soloed by Gohan. These are all things that you miss and you move. You get out of there. I don't know. I'm excited for this portrayal if they do it faithfully. If they get to the Moro arc, which was incredible, really good stuff. If they get to the Granola arc, which expanded on the Saiyans versus the Tuffles and really gets into the past and things like that, and more Bardock in there, which is always fun. And you get the Heaters coming in, which is a good, cool group of people. We get to see Frieza Black. We get into superhero. I mean, there's a lot that goes in. I'm excited. If this is true, I'm excited. Caveat is about to get banned, saying Dragon Ball Evolution is the bestest movie ever. God, that fucking movie is a cancer on society. It is so friggin' bad. I'm not even going to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution. Caveat don't make me mad. I'm going to kick you off the show. You're not coming on Tuesday. Just kidding. You're definitely coming on. But yeah, no, I'm excited. This whole entire aside was just to say that I'm looking forward to a potential manga faithful adaptation, which isn't uncommon when a manga is being written side by side with an anime, because one's going to not want to wait on the other, and then they're going to take their own liberties. And even though they stay in similar paths, they branch off at times, and we saw that. So I'd be excited. I'll be happy to see that. And I think that it will be a good thing. I think that seeing that will be a good thing. But all right, let's see what we got going on here. I did those. I might save this. So guys, real quick, I won't be on tomorrow night. Tuesday, obviously, we'll be having Caveat on. So I won't be on tomorrow night, because tomorrow night I'll be doing Talking to Novels. We have ourselves a guest. I'm excited for this guest. If you're a running fan, track and field and stuff like that, go to Talking to Novels on YouTube and go click subscribe there. We interview the best runners in the state of New Jersey right now, but around the country. We've talked to Olympians, we talked to gold medalists, we talked to legends. We just talked to one of the first men to break 10 seconds in the 100. So we talk to really cool people on Talking in Ovals. So this is my promo for that show. If you are a running fan, a track fan, and you just like stories of how people got to where they got to, their journeys, you'll like that show. So Talking in Ovals, go subscribe on YouTube. So I won't be on tomorrow night. I'll be doing Talking in Ovals. Tuesday night, Caveat Ties is coming on. I'm fucking looking forward to that. And then we'll see going into the new year. I won't do New Year's Eve, obviously, because New Year's Eve, everyone should be out fucking celebrating New Year's Eve. Go spend time with your families, your friends, be safe, do all that good stuff. I'll reiterate that when we have Caveat on Tuesday. But then New Year's Day, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe New Year's Day, that Friday, I might pop on. We'll find out. Like I said, this whole entire the Hangout stream is going to become a thing. It's quite literally just going to be that's what I'm calling. I'm fucking lazy. I'm terrible at names. But the Hangout stream is going to be a thing. We'll be doing more and more of the Hangout stream where I'm just here shooting the shit on certain topics. But yeah, overall, it's going to be fun. We're gonna have fun. But yeah, no show tomorrow night because I'll be doing my other show. Caveat coming in saying I gave it a heinous on Criticalist. One of the worst movies I've seen, and I'm not a Dragon Ball guy. I'm not gonna rate it on Criticalist, okay? Caveat, because I fucking forget it exists. I hate that thing. All right, so what do we want to get to? Let's talk about this first because this is pissing me off. Something awful, okay? So the few days ago, about 20 days ago now, a little while ago. Let's see, boop, boop, boop. FIFA announced, boom, players at FIFA World Cup 2026 will benefit from 3-minute hydration breaks in each half as FIFA prioritizes players' welfare at this next year's tournament. Then there's an article that links to it. I don't want to fucking talk about the article. Now, I know a lot of Americans are like soccer's gay. We don't like soccer, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to fucking talk about soccer because I want to. So, why does this piss me off? So, for the laymen that don't know, soccer is typically played with 2 45-minute halves. And those 45-minute halves are played consecutive time. The watch keeps running, whether there's a foul, out of bounds, goal, anything. Clock keeps going. And then the official on the field basically has a running clock in his or her head. And at the end of the half or the game, when that 45 minutes hits, they can add an extra minute, 5, 10, whatever they want to add. They can add what's called stoppage time, where basically I'm saying that this much time was stopped during the game approximately. So I'm giving those minutes back to the players so they can keep playing because they didn't play for that time. So that is how soccer is typically meant to be played. And then caveat ties coming here saying soccer is gay. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. But that is how soccer is meant to be played. 2 halves. And part of the difficulty of soccer is that for those 45 minutes, you're not only there for the skill aspect, it is a test of endurance. That's why you'll often see when one side has the ball, there's a lot of players walking on the field because they're fucking tired. I think it's been said that like a midfielder runs every game, especially like a center mid, anywhere between like 3 to 6 miles a game. If you're playing the full 90 plus stoppage, it's a lot of running every game. So when you play these games, you play them in all sorts of weather and elements. You play them in hot, you play it in cold, you play it in rain. Typically you don't get snow, but I mean, if it's there and it's not, taking up the whole field, you play as long as the ball can move. What FIFA's doing here by doing the 3-minute hydration breaks in between halves is turning soccer from the endurance battle that it is, 'cause part of it is endurance, which is why at the highest level, subs can't just go in and out. It's not like you could take a tired guy off, let him rest a little, and then put him back in. At the international level, you get a certain number of subs, and once that player's out, that player's out. Similar to baseball. When a baseball player is taken out, they can't come back in. Soccer is typically the same way, which is why you want to put players on there and you want their fitness to be good enough to go 90 plus. Every single soccer player at the highest level should be able to play 90 plus and should prepare for the elements as they are come. This takes away a big part of the game, the endurance side. And it pisses me the fuck off. Because with these 3-minute hydration breaks, what it is, number one, you're turning it into 4 quarters. Coaches can now make adjustments with the whole team there instead of trying to do it on the fly, changing formations, changing their attacking strategy, whether they're being more attacking, defensive, how their mid's going to shape, all that type of stuff is going to be able to be made on with all their whole team there as they're drinking. So the assistant coaches are going to be tasked with, doing strategies and things like that and taking that all into account. So in those 3 minutes, a lot of coaching can get done in those 3 minutes. So there's that. Number two, it is again, if I have a great player, but they get fucking tired quickly, that changes my strategy as a coach. Because I know I might only have them for 60 minutes. Even with the half, they're going to get tired. So they're one of my 60-minute subs. With a guaranteed break in between, I may be able to stretch that player out to 75, 80 minutes. And if I get to have to sub them, I'm now getting 10, 15, 20 more minutes with that skilled player that maybe just does not have the endurance level. That changes everything. And I know there's this corny adage, oh, we want to see the best players on the field. We want to see them play. And no, part of being the best is if you're able to be there. Part of the game of soccer is the endurance aspect, is that strategy of a coach in going, hey, my star player, who's one of the top scorers in the world, is fucking exhausted. He has started and played almost 80, 90 minutes every single game, 60 minutes for the last 6 games, 5 games, 8 games. He needs a rest. I'm going to keep him on the bench and sub him at the 60 to 75. Just so he only has to play 30 minutes as opposed to a full 90, 70, whatever. That strategy comes into play. These hydration breaks change everything. Yes, it's only 6 more minutes of break time. But, man, you're going to see a different game. And they already started fucking doing it. They did it with some of the prelims. They did it with certain things. God, what was I just watching with Team USA that they did it? And Pochettino has Team USA playing well. I'm excited to see what Team USA is able to do. Poch is his style of coaching is getting through to a lot of people, and he's able to put a whole bunch of different lineups there, and they're getting similar results. I think United States hasn't lost in 7 matches with 6 wins and 1 draw, or 6 matches with 5 wins, something like that. But it's been a really good run. Leading up to this World Cup. They have a few friendlies coming up, which are important because they're 3 good teams, but it's been really good. But to see this is going to change everything. I hate this. I hate that they're changing the game. They're changing all the fucking games in order to make them easier. So I want to go real quick. Nate G saying soccer players are so soft. Nate, I will go and say that there are multiple sports where the players are just getting softer. Not just soccer. Because you know something? Yes, soccer people fake. They are known for the faking. We all make fun of them for the faking. There is an art to flopping, and the soccer players will tell you about it. But yes, we make fun of it. Deservedly so, okay? Deservedly fucking so. But if you've ever truly played a game of soccer, a physical game of soccer where you're exhausted and you're still having to sprint to that ball, worry about a player coming on, and, they don't slow down when they run into you. They fucking run into you. And you need to make that decision of whether to go down and try and get the foul or hold that ball because it'll make a better offensive decision. We only see the flops on the major things, okay? Soccer is a very physical game. Soccer is a difficult game. The soccer players are tough pansies. I will give it that. They are tough pansies. I used to call them foot fairies and everything. I played soccer for 13 years, okay? They are tough pansies. That's a good way to call them because soccer is a very physical game. But there are multiple sports that have gotten soft, Nate. Baseball. I will always make fun of baseball because if a fucking nail on your hand causes you to sit out games because you can't grip a bat, you can, or a pitcher can't pitch because they have a sore, a lump, or like a something on their finger or something. That is soft as shit. Okay. Baseball players are the softest players in sports, bar none, more than soccer. There isn't a single athlete softer than a baseball player, and it is not close. It is by an incredibly wide margin that baseball players are softer. And I don't think that's even up for debate. I won't debate it because it is the truth. Baseball players are the softest players on the planet in any sport. Basketball players are getting there. Basketball players are certainly getting there. The fact that they want to reduce the number of games from 82 to less, the fact that the playoffs take a month plus because they don't do the back-to-backs at home anymore with a day travel and back to back, where the playoffs again used to be a war of attrition as much as it was a war of skill. Now every single playoff game has at least a day off, and travel is 2 days. Like, get the fuck out of here, okay? Basketball is also getting incredibly soft. And I also think basketball may actually flop more than soccer does now. Because if you watch soccer games, yes, you have guys going down. But then when you watch some of the replays, they're sprinting really fucking fast. And then a leg gets in front of them and they do a flip. Yeah, it hurts for a second. Do they embellish? Yes. But yeah, it fucking hurts. I've taken some of those hits before, some of those knees to the thigh. You feel that, man. You got to rub it out. Well, pause. You have to sit there and you got to take a second and walk it off. It sucks. Okay. Basketball is another game that's incredibly physical. I'm not going to knock basketball players' physicality. They are physical shit. Anyone that's ever played basketball and driven into the lane in a real game gets put on your ass, right? If you're going for a rebound and you're getting into position, it's tough, okay? But the flopping in basketball is terrible. The injuries, the sitting out because I'm tired. Oh, I played a back to back. Get the fuck out of here. Again, endurance is part of it. That should be part of the game. So I'm not going to say, soccer players are soft, but there's a lot of soft athletes in the world right now. Nate also saying USA Hockey 2026 over the World Cup. Yeah, USA. Because here's the thing, Nate, I agree with you. But if USA Hockey doesn't fucking bring it home this year in the in 2026, if they don't bring it home in the Olympics, this is such a wasted fucking opportunity of talent. They better not lose to Canada again. And regardless of what happens, there is an asterisk next to all of this because Russia's not involved. And we all know Russia should be involved in all these. But whatever happens in the World Cup without Russia being involved, there is an asterisk to whoever wins. Because we all know that Russians are monsters as well. And even on their bad years, they are a factor to be a disruptor. So I will put an asterisk next to whoever wins the Olympics in 2026. But the World Cup's going to be exciting. Nate, I suggest you watch it because the American men's team is significantly better and more positioned this year to make to. I think they have no reason not to get to the knockouts, and they should get to the round of 16, depending on who they play in the knockouts. It's going to be tough. But this team is good. Not going to say great. And I think they're good, not because they're incredibly talented. I think Pochettino's a great coach. And I think he's going to make them overperform. Caveat Eyes coming in saying it's because Beckham is getting old. Beckham doesn't even play anymore, okay? Caveat. Beckham is the owner of one of the teams. I think does he own the Galaxy or something like that in MLS? Caveat Eyes saying I'm wanting the Bears to beat the 49ers. The Bears. Listen, Caleb Williams is balling out. And he is playing really, really good. Better than I thought he was going to be with his painted fucking nails and everything. But what is the score update there? What do we see? It's 28 all in the third. Oof. It's quite the game right there. I don't know. That's going to be fun. I might have to tune in after I'm done streaming here. But yeah, my Jets got fucking shellacked today. Jesus. My Jets are embarrassing, aren't they? What was the final score? 42-10. No pride. No pride for the Jets. But let's keep going. Nate saying, I watch soccer. If I'm betting on it, flopping is bananas. I mean, yeah, listen, I get it. I'm with you. The flopping is fucking bananas. It is 100%. Caveatizing, but my lips are chapped really, really bad. And you might get a baseball player sitting there going, I can't feel my face. Nate G saying it's hard to say the college ballers are soft, but something happens when they go to the NBA that turns them into soft serve. Nate, here is why the college ballers aren't soft. Because everyone else around them is bad. So they can go and run through them. They are moving at a different speed. They are playing at a different level where they are men and everyone's boys. This is the secret to college sports that people don't want to admit. The ones that we see go pro, and even the bench guys that go pro, are the only ones that are actually good at their sport. Everybody else there is going to go and become a fucking accountant. They're going to go and do their major. They're bad. I can't watch college basketball until tournament time because hearing a clank drives me crazy because it's all you fucking hear. I can go watch it in person. In person, it's different. It's amazing. They're fast, they're athletic. Watching these giant ogreish humans do what they do is great. But to watch it, I don't fucking care on TV. They suck. Most college players at all sports are bad at their sport. They're not going to go pro. Even your major D1 people are bad at their sport compared to the pros. And that's just the reality. And that's why they are ballers, because there's no one there that can touch them. Nate saying Canada is still a juggernaut. USA is young and hungry and, keeping it 100 about Russia. I mean, listen, Canada will always be the juggernaut because what the fuck else do they have to do in Canada? Okay. But at the same time, this young and hungry team, the bottom line is, I think a lot hinges if the Kachucks are healthy, because the Kachucks being hurt during, God, I can't remember the exhibition. I forget the name of the exhibition all the time. But the Kachucks getting hurt change everything, okay? Because they were controlling every single game. Them being hurt, if they could be healthy along with everyone else on this American team, just the scoring prowess of this team is ridiculous. So we should see a much better showing as long as the Kachucks are healthy. And I never in my life thought I'd be rooting for a Kachuk, but I digress. Caveat Ties coming in saying it was a joke. Yep, 28-28 to score. And I wanted the Jets to win, better for the Broncos. Listen, at this point in the season, we have one game left. The Jets better not fucking win, man. They better not win. What do we have? One or two more games? How many more games do we have left? It's going to be, we have one more game. The Jets better not win. Just go just do the fucking 3-14. Get as good of a draft slot. Hope another team wins in front of you so you can move up. That's it. That is it. Nate G saying 4 nations. Bash Bros won't be able to bash as hard. Euro style hockey is a lot softer than NHL. Yeah, it is. They won't be able to hit as hard, but that's still the American style. The American style is to be that physical, and they'll adjust, right? Because these guys are used to playing at different areas and international. They will adjust, but that's the American style, is being that physical, tough team. And I think when the Americans are good like this, the other teams want to match the physicality. So I think Canada is going to be just as physical because they don't want to be muscled around. Even though the Euro is softer, the officials are calling more. I still think that teams don't even the Americans are going to push the limit. So I don't think they're going to want to be kind of pushed around. But yeah, so overall, to wrap up this topic, the hydration breaks are fucking stupid. It is completely and totally changing the game, and I don't like it. That's it. Pisses me off. All right, let's go on to something funny, because something funny is great. So, recently, I don't know when this happened. It might have been today, but SK, who I have no idea who this is, I think they were a Joker fan. World number 1 women's tennis player, Annika Sabalenka, I guess her name is Anika, I think Anika Sabalenka, lost to a man who was injured for the last 2 years, almost retired, had a lower court area to hit. Absolutely horrendous storyline for everyone fighting for equal pay. Caveat is with this, caveat. The injured player who almost retired, blah, 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 is Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios is a all-world talent that has Grand Slam champion level talent and skills that just gives zero fucks and plays tennis for fun. Now let's watch. This is the end of this match. Let's just watch the difference in everything here.
It's Nick Kyrgios that secures victory in the battle of the
6-3,
sexes
6-3.
here
Now,
in Dubai.
in the world of tennis, people are going to be like, oh, that was a competitive match, right? 6-3,
What
6-3.
an amazing match this has been, not just in terms
It's
of
not
tennis,
that, you know,
but
like
just in terms
Sabalenka
of
got destroyed,
experience
Nick
for the
Kyrgios had to
crowd,
play.
for entertainment.
Let's go back here. Let's go back to the beginning. Look at these fucking courts that they had to draw. Look at these courts. Kyrgios could not hit as hard as he wanted to. That serve that he did was a much softer serve than normal with just a lot of kick, and Sabalenka could not handle it. There's at least 2 feet in, and it's much smaller. Where he has to serve into is much smaller. They did everything in the quote unquote battle of the sexes to give Sabalenka a chance just to compete, because they wanted this game to go more than 20 minutes. Kyrgios probably took it easy as well. This isn't a battle of the sexes. This is embarrassing. Why do they keep doing this? And the thing is, Sabalenka's not taking this seriously. She's hitting, right? She's trying to do her best, but she knows. Everyone knows. There's a difference between men and women. We've heard Venus Williams say it in the past. I even think Sabalenka has said it, that there is no comparison between men and women. Juniors can beat the top 10 women in the world, junior boys. We need to stop this. Okay? The battle of the sexes is dumb. Just look at how stupid that looks. If you're a tennis fan, this is dumb. Like, the fact that, I mean, Kyrgios going to agree to this because he doesn't take tennis seriously. He doesn't give a shit. He just has fun with tennis. He gives up half the time. He goofs off. He's just there to collect his thousands of dollars just for qualifying, winning a few matches, and then he wants to fuck off, okay? The only time he took it seriously, he went against Djokovic in a Grand Slam final and probably should have beaten him if he didn't get in his own head. I've always liked Nick Kyrgios. He is fantastic. He's the perfect guy to do battle of the sexes because he doesn't give a fuck. But, I mean, in the past, I don't know if they've done it this way where they make the court smaller for the guy to aim to and the women's regulation size. But what a joke. Just the imagery of this. Just looking at this still embarrasses me for Sabalenka. And I'm surprised she agreed to something like this. Because that's embarrassing. You're the world number 1 and you agree to this? The fuck is this? And then to frame it, the framing was stupid. At Kyrgios almost, come on now. How dumb. Nate's saying, we saw this where Gabby Garcia, the 6'4", world's greatest woman BJJ, get absolutely toyed with by Craig Jones, a smaller skilled BJJer. Yeah, listen, we saw this, God, it had to be last year. I think there was a video of some like fat drunk dude trying to accost Amanda Nunes. And Amanda Nunes is a bad bitch, okay? She is UFC royalty, one of the best female fighters in the history of the UFC. No one would want to take a hit by her. But in this video, she's giving it all she got, trying to beat the fuck out of this guy, and this guy just keeps coming. There's just a difference, man. Anyone that doesn't acknowledge a biological difference is out of their fucking minds. It's just a difference. There's no ifs, ands, or but about it. Caveat Ty saying that shirt, though, you're talking about the sweat or you're talking about Sabalenka's. If Sabalenka look at, here's the thing, too. What, people think Sabalenka's hot. I don't think Sabalenka's that hot. Let's BJJ, keep it appropriate. Stop it, Caveat. Let's see. Let's go here. People think Sabalenka's hot. I don't think Sabalenka's that good looking. Like, she's okay looking. Don't get me wrong. She's not ugly. Am I being mean that I'm judging Sabalenka right now? I don't know. I think I'm just addressing. Like, she's not an ugly woman by any means, but God, I don't think Sabalenka's hot. But I digress. Nate saying, I forgot about that video. That was a rough video. Yeah, it was a rough video. And he was grabbing Amanda Nunes and roughing her up too. She was giving her best shots and fucking pot shots and bare knuckle too. And he was barely feeling it. Caveat Ty saying the sweat. Lots of sweat. Yes, lots of sweat coming off. But yeah, this was just an absolute embarrassment. An absolute embarrassing showing for Sabalenka to even participate in this farce. And just, yeah, no, I just think it was dumb. I didn't see the point of it. The point of doing it. So, I mean, just an embarrassment, just an absolute embarrassment. They need to stop doing these battle of the sexes. And if they do it, they need to just not televise it. I mean, I really think that might be the way to go. If you're going to do it, just don't televise it. Don't put any TVs there and don't publicize it. Because we hear all the time about women pros. And I know people mix it up and it's like, oh, this is the USMT women. Like, half the time it's not the starters for the women's national team in soccer that get beaten by the 15-year-old boys. Sometimes it is. Don't get me wrong. But they're still pro women and they get worked. And we see this. I've seen a bunch of reels where it's like high school boys, not even just all American, like some of them are all Americans playing against pro women and just working them, beating the shit out of them. There's a difference here. And I get it. The women, listen, if you're an athlete, part of it is testing yourself, right? You have pride. You want to test yourself. And that's fine. If a woman wants to test herself against a bunch of dudes, do it up. No, don't do that. Don't be a whore. But no, if you want to test yourself athletically against a bunch of dudes, go for it. But don't go in there acting like you're going to do something, okay? If it's a bunch of average Joes, you're going to fuck them up. If you're a pro at your sport, you're a female, and it's a bunch of average guys, you're going to wreck them, right? You're going to be better than them. You're going to kick their ass, sure. But if they are skilled, if they are a skilled male high schooler, they're going to work you in your sport. They're going to kick your ass. It's not going to be close. And that's just the reality of it. Again, I'm a track guy. In my track world, the elite high school men, the elite high school boys would set every single women's record and make it unattainable for any biological woman to get to. And these are 17, 16, 15, 14-year-old boys, 18, against grown men. The records they would set if they were allowed to compete against women and set their records would just be unattainable. It wouldn't even be close. There's a difference. And it's not to knock these women. These women are talented at their sport. They are good. They're very good. They're the best of the best. It's not as good as the top men. They're not as good as the second tier men. They're not as good as the high school third tier. And the good high schoolers, again, fall into that college. They're probably bad at their sport in the end. But still, it's just, they got to stop doing this. They got to stop doing this. But what else do I want to talk about here? Let's talk about, you know what? I'm going to do it. I was going to save it, but I won't be talking to you guys for a little bit. Obviously I'll be talking to Roland on Tuesday, but we might not do a stream like this till maybe Thursday-ish. So let's have a chat. Might close it out on this. We have, if you're looking at it for some people's perspective, a problem. And I'm going to try and lay out that it might not be a problem. What's going on the right now? Where there is a quote unquote civil war going on. Now, the way I'm looking at everything shaping up, this may not be the worst thing to happen to the right now. Yes, I know everybody is dooming about 2026. And typically, in the mid-year of a presidential term, it shifts, right? The party in power flips, typically. Now, Trump is going to do everything he can to prevent that. If the economy takes a positive turn, if he can help in the housing front, which he's mentioned a few times, and usually that means he's directing his people to try something. If these foreign deals that he's been making start to come into effect and start to make a positive change in American lives, that's going to be more than anything we can do in the podcasting, the radio space, or even the campaigns of people can do. That is a big factor. 2026 hinges on whether or not Donald Trump can domestically get his shit together. Because yes, while we're seeing some things coming down, gas keeps on creaking down a little bit. Things are slowly becoming more affordable, but it still feels incredibly unattainable. Wages still have not felt like they've gone up, right? Even if they have, even if they could show us a chart saying things have gotten better here and there, it doesn't feel like that. And perception is everything, especially when it comes to politics. So 2026 hinges more on what Donald Trump can accomplish. And if Congress is going to fucking codify anything, then what the candidates are going to say themselves on the campaign trail or anyone else can say. With that being said, we need to look ahead to 2020 now. Because what is about to happen was always going to happen with the coalition that is currently on the right. We think that we saw something during the primaries. We didn't see shit, guys. Okay? We saw a microcosm during the primaries where we had Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis. They were generally the two really going at it. And Trump kind of lurking in the back until he was ready to throw his hat in. And then when he threw his hat in, put his dick on the table, Vivek bowed out. DeSantis held on, and DeSantis got embarrassed because his team was fucking terrible. Less because Ron is a bad politician and more because he got really bad advice that he took. And he had put shitty people around him for a campaign. But we saw a fracturing already there. We saw a lot of your traditionalists, your neocons, your rhetoric people. Oh, who do I forget about? Not Kristi Noem. What the fuck was her name? She was the UN ambassador. She ran for a while, and she's like the 100% just like going to be like the plan. She's going to run again. God, I forget her name. If anyone, remind me of the other chick that ran for president. She was Trump's ambassador for a little. Nikki Haley. That's it. Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley was there as well, and she hung around. But we saw people throw their weight behind her too. We saw a microcosm of the split that's about to occur and is occurring now. And the way I'm looking at it now is this is a good thing, okay? This is a good thing because what we are going to have in the very near future is we are going to have Donald Trump's MAGA type of populist conservatism that is going to coalesce here. But they're going to be on an island because everybody, and I mean everybody, is going to be trying to destroy them. Because you're going to have Maha is going to branch off. There was never a time where MAGA and Maha were going to stay a thing. Maha is going to branch off. RFK is going to run as a Republican, everybody. Breaking this out, he's not going to be independent. He's going to run as a Republican. He's going to run under Maha. And he's going to say, I'm here to keep President Trump's plans going when it comes to keeping people healthy, when it comes to vaccination schedules. I'm going to be the best at that, blah, 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 blah. That's one faction. Other faction, your neocons. Your neocons have never left, okay? They're still hanging around. They are going to try to use a Nikki Haley, or they're going to try and get Marco Rubio to come back in the fold and use that. But your neocons are going to be there. Those are two, Maha neocons. Then you're going to have your Fuentes, Israel, everything fucking psychos. your Christian nationalists, your left wing of the right, your leftists. They're your leftists that pretend to be on the right. You're going to have them. They're going to be throwing arrows at MAGA. All three of these groups are already being throwing arrows at anyone left of MAGA. And then you're going to have your libertarians. Your Mises libertarians are going to be here. And they're not necessarily going to be throwing the arrows, but they're not going to be aligned as much as they were. Not going to be as popular to be MAGA. And then you have your leftist libertarians who are probably going to float a little bit more towards Maha, because Maha is a bunch of leftists too, guys. But they're still going to be floating around doing their thing, just trying to do drugs whenever the fuck they want. That's their whole purpose. Those are just the quote unquote right coalitions that are going to try and destroy MAGA. They're going to try and destroy the populist movement. And it's better for me that it starts now. That we do it now. That we take the time in the midterms and it starts here. And it's starting because people are already trying to figure out if they're running for president or not. And they're trying to see, okay, who's going to support me? Who's not going to support me? Where's it going to come from? And it's a good thing, guys. Because we can see who still wants to carry the torch and who still wants to actually try to get this country under control. Because again, you can have all your faults with things that Trump does or doesn't do. But the one thing you can't say is that Trump isn't trying. You're not going to agree with everything, but he is trying. Can we say the same about the next candidate that comes up? Is J.D. Vance, who, mind you, was a senator, mind you, was not a Trump fan first, is he truly going to continue to be MAGA? Or will he just go back to being swamp? Because J.D. Vance was a swamp guy, okay? Marco Rubio, I mentioned him. Will Marco actually stay on this good streak he's been doing foreign policy-wise? Great job. He's one of the best Secretary of State of all time. But will he get the lobbyists back in his ear and go back the way to lobbyists? Nikki Haley will run again. She had backing of the leftists. The left wanted her to win. She will have backing from the leftists again to disrupt the primary. She will be there. You'll have Vivek Ramaswamy will run again. He's not very popular right now. So I don't know if Vivek's going to have anything behind him. But Ron DeSantis will and should run again. What else do you have to do? He can't be governor again. But Ron will run again. If he gets better people around him, he's going to be one of the closest ones to potentially getting that MAGA type of thing back. He's very much in that vein. But again, he's been in the swamp before. He was a member of the House. We have to keep these things in mind, okay? Of who has already been in the swamp and who hasn't. Everyone I mentioned so far is a swamp creature of some sort. Do we go... Caveat ties, don't make me laugh. Lindsey Graham is running. What is Lindsey Graham running from? Women? Get the fuck out of here. Caveat ties saying I like Ron. I like Ron DeSantis too. I think Ron DeSantis is a good candidate. J.D. Vance won when he embraced the meme. Listen, J.D. Vance is smart. J.D. Vance isn't a fool. Has J.D. Vance truly changed? I hope so. And I hope he does continue. And I hope if he wins and becomes president, or if he becomes, are elected, he becomes, he stays that course. He speaks real. He doesn't go into rhetoric. Yeah, he's a good speaker. He's a better speaker than Trump is. He's great at it. But I hope he doesn't go back to being a politician. Caveat tie saying I wanted Ron. I didn't want Ron. I still wanted Trump. Trump had unfinished business. I liked Donald Trump in his first term. Thought he should have won in 2020. We can argue the merits there. But I thought Ron was too soon. I didn't think he should have ran, to be quite honest. I didn't think Ron DeSantis should have ran. But he didn't. He ran a shitty campaign. That's kind of why he lost. But I'm happy to see this break up right now. Because I want to tell everyone this. We have these people in the coalition that are still currently there, still hanging on, because we still have hope. We still need to hang on to try and win 2026. But it's going to fragment and break as we get into 2028. And it may be able to coalesce back, guys. We might be able to get this back because that's what primaries are. Primaries are you fracture, you go to war, one person wins, you come around that person, you coalesce around them, and you try to get them the victory in the primary. That is what they typically have been. You get your some people that leave. Nothing like we've seen this last time with like Lincoln Project and the Drudge Report fucking off and Bill Kristol showing his true colors. We didn't see any of this in a lot of them, but this is typically what it works. You tear each other apart in the primaries. You come back together when it's general election time. But what we need to be wary of, anyone that you hear that says, oh, I came in because of Tulsi. I came in because of RFK. I came in because of Andrew Yang. Even though Andrew Yang isn't in, they liked Andrew Yang and he kind of got pushed out. I was a Bernie bro. And when he got screwed, I came over. Any of these people that you hear say that, they're probably gone, guys. Hate to break it to you. They're probably not a part of the coalition going forward. Because I don't trust Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi's a politician. She says what she needs to say. Okay? Listen, I think Tulsi is a tough bitch. Military, well-spoken, doing a good job in the administration from everything I've seen. Even though she's been fairly quiet. She goes on, does her TV things. But I don't trust Tulsi. I never will, probably. RFK. RFK's a leftist. RFK sucks, okay? Anyone that came in from RFK is out of his mind, okay? RFK sucks. He's good on some things. He sucks on everything else. He's not a good, not a good person, okay? He's a leftist, through and through. If you came in from either of those two, that scares me. If you were a former Bernie bro, either you were retarded or you're still a socialist and you're just mad that Bernie got screwed. Like, I can't see how people were like, Bernie, man, he was against the system, man. Like, no, you're a fucking idiot. He's always been a commie socialist, okay? There was never anything about Bernie that spoke anything besides he was going to take what the left was already doing and make it further left. Now, I can't blame people if they were ignorant to politics before and they didn't realize that Bernie and everything he was saying was full of shit. His whole campaign was full of shit. The guy's been a leftist his whole life. He knows how to speak as a leftist, how to get the emotions going. Anyone that was a Bernie bro that came over that was fooled, they're gullible, okay? They're probably gone. Some will maybe stay if they were like Ron Paul people too. They might hang around. But for the most part, anyone that was just a Bernie bro over it, they're fucking out, okay? They're going to be gone. And then again, you have so many people like Andrew Yang. They just didn't like that Andrew Yang was screwed. They're already gone. Okay. So there's a chunk of the coalition that's going to go, naturally going to go, as we kind of get back to business as usual. Because it's going to be business as usual come 2028. The only thing that can upset the apple cart is if another Trump runs. And I think we'll see how that goes. Because I do firmly believe that if JD Vance runs and he starts to fumble and stumble, Trump will not hesitate to pull the trigger and just say, Junior, go. And Don Jr. will be in. Now, does Don Jr. have the charisma of his father? Can Don Jr. win like his father can? I don't know. Seen him on podcasts. I like Don Jr. Seems like a nice guy. Cool dude. Do I think he can win like his dad? Maybe. Name recognition goes a fucking far way in everything you do in life. You can be terrible at what you do, but if you're the known commodity, it's going to take that upstart that's significantly better than you a long time to overtake you in things. Because people like to go with the devil they know, but then the devil they don't. It's how it is. So a Don Jr. coming in just with the last name is helpful. It's why Jeb Bush thought he was going to march in and just win the candidacy and go on to become the next president. Because the last name was Bush. It was his birthright. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the primary. But I don't think we should doom and gloom about what's going on now. We're seeing people separate. We're seeing Candace Owens is a fucking grifter. She's not a part of our coalition. She's not someone that is going to be helpful on the right, okay? Nick Fuentes is going to fart around with his griping retards, and they're going to do their thing, and sometimes we're going to agree with them, and most of the time they're going to be a bunch of pieces of shit. And that's just what it is. All your Israel does everything people will always be around because there's always anti-Semitic people that hate the Jews. There's always going to be people that are fascist. It is what it is. And here's the thing. Some of the things that with all political ideologies, they're going to say you may agree with. Doesn't mean they're on your side. You got to recognize who's truly on your side. Will Tucker potentially come back? Maybe. Tucker's a smart guy. Tucker's gone a little off the fucking rails. I don't know what he knows. I don't know what he's seen. But I do believe Tucker may make his way back. I don't know. But then you also have people like Mark Levin. Mark Levin is fucking out of it, dude. He's out. He has a one topic thing, and he's just trying to be a bulldog and go after people. He's terrible. Mark Levin's not a trusted person. There was maybe a time where Mark Levin was a voice that you could listen to. Not anymore. Sean Hannity's been dead to me since he fucking supported Dr. Oz over Kathy Barnett. He's not someone you can listen to anymore. Most of Fox News sucks outside of Gutfeld and Waters. They're pretty bad over there. So this internal strife, this war is a good thing. It is. It's weird when I find myself agreeing with Ben Shapiro on things because I do think that is what I'm cautious about. If the Daily Wire is the people speaking truth, then we're in trouble. Because I don't want to go back to the suit wearers. I don't want to go back to the only policy people that don't understand culture. I don't want to go back to that. But if we keep on allowing these fucking maggots that pretend to be on the right to infiltrate, then we're going to need the Daily Wire people to be the adults in the room and to come back and bring peace in. It's going to suck. I don't want to become those people. I push back against the Wire because I'm not the suit-wearing people that they are. I am more of an anime hangout type of guy, more on the populist side. Let me get to some comments here before I keep ranting. Caveat saying Ron at his moment, I don't think he stands a chance now. I think Ron can shock you. If he gets a good team around him, I think Ron DeSantis still has a really good chance. I know people don't want to hear that because he burned a lot of bridges with MAGA, but if he gets a good team around him, if he keeps away some of the fucking psychos, I know he let Will Chamberlain go, who I like Will Chamberlain. Bring Will Chamberlain back, okay? If you're smart, Ron, and let Will Chamberlain be the center of what you do if you want a chance. But I think Ron does have a chance. I don't think he's too much of an outsider that people think. He said he's got to do something else now. I don't think so. I think Ron has one more chance. Caveat Ty saying, that's why I can't get anywhere with name recognition. Yes. And listen, I agree. Here I am. I'm super thankful for Caveat Ties, and I'm super thankful for Nate and everything, and you guys hanging around, and these small faithful group of people that I know will listen later. Like you, I fuck with all of you. You guys are awesome. And I appreciate any one voice listening to me. I appreciate, but yeah, the recognition is everything. Name recognition is everything. And that's just a part of life. It's a fact of life. I ran for my local office. And a lot of people went with the commodity they knew, who was the councilwoman that was currently sitting, and she does jack shit. She just nods her fucking head for the town supervisor. So it is what it is. Caveat Ty saying, what about the Shapiro speech? What do you think? I thought Ben Shapiro was right on. And again, it scares me, right? I thought Shapiro was on. I thought we need to go back to truth and those types of things. And we can't listen to the psychos. It's okay. And I think that the issue is we've seen so much conspiracy become fact that we are now starting to believe everything's a conspiracy. We're becoming manic, where sometimes things just are what they are. It doesn't mean you got to accept it. You can question it. but there isn't always an answer that is readily available. And then you have some people like your Candace, like your Jake fucking Shields, like your Nick Fuentes, like now Tucker, apparently. They found their answer, and it's just Jews. Israel and Jews. I mean, you can't trust those types of people that always have an answer. If someone always has an answer, then they're probably fucking lying to you, okay? The person you could trust is the person that'll give you your opinion on a matter, maybe, but will tell you, I'm not the well-versed. I don't fucking know that, but here's what I think based off of what I know. But someone that always has an answer, and if their answer is always Jews, then they're anti-Semitic and probably wrong about most of it, okay? Nate saying, I saw a clip of Tucker on the Theo Von verifying some of the weird stuff Candace Owens was saying. Here's the thing. I don't believe a single fucking thing Tucker says anymore, and it's sad because I like Tucker Carlson. Anyone that went to Qatar, I can't believe them anymore. Qatar, whatever. Qatar is still a hostile nation to Israel. I think anyone can be bought. I think anyone has a price. I'm not assuming Tucker Carlson's bought out. I think Tucker might be one of the ones that actually believes it. And Tucker does have ties to people in intelligence. People forget. I think his dad was like a top CIA agent or something like that. So he has ties in there. Similar to the way Alex Jones's father had ties to the federal government through like, he was like, I think he was like a scientist or something. So these people have things in there. I don't think Tucker's telling the truth. I think Tucker, I don't know if he even believes that Israel or Jew shit. I really don't know. In terms of like verifying, I didn't see what he verified what Candace Owens was saying. If it has anything to do with TPUSA, I think Candace is out of her mind. And I don't think she's telling the truth. And I think Tucker is just going down a weird path right now. He's going down a losing path. I don't know if Tucker has presidential aspirations and he's going to run as the anti-Semite. But, I got to watch that clip. Nate, send me that clip so I can find out what it is. And we can see. And maybe, Nate, if you send me the clip and it's before I want to get out of here, maybe we'll throw it on and I'll react to it. Because I don't know what the fuck that clip is. But, yeah, if you send it to me, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll watch it together and we'll be educated. But yeah, no, I don't know about Tucker. Nate also saying I haven't been able to keep up, too dark. Caveat saying I do The Wire, mostly Walsh and Knowles. Listen, I got nothing against people that do The Wire. Again, Daily Wire has been absolutely necessary for the movement. They've been super important with everything they've done. They've been awesome. I don't fuck with most of them as much. I like Andrew Clavin. I did see Michael Knowles. I didn't see the full interview, so I'm not going to shit on him too much. But I did see something where Michael Knowles was calling like Franco like a base Christian in a way that don't ever fucking, I don't care what you think about Franco. He was a fucking fascist, okay? Fascism is never a good thing to do. Like, fuck that. Like, you can take quotes from people that were shitty and maybe take a quote and say, hey, I at least agree with this quote. But Franco was a piece of shit, okay? I didn't like that he did that, but I gotta go back. To be fair, I saw a clip. I didn't see the full context. Nick coming in saying he verified that Charlie's planes were followed by Egyptian registered planes and that at the university there was an insane amount of foreign registered phones. So here's the thing that I have to say to that, Nate. How? What was his verification? Oh, I know people and I know. Was that his verification? Are we just supposed to take Tucker at face value the same way we're supposed to take Candace at face value? Why? Because Tucker has been right on some things before. If Tucker has proof, do it up. Do it up. If Tucker has proof, verifiable proof, not just fucking flight logs, okay? I don't want that. Or like flight patterns. Look at these flight patterns. Verifiable proof that Egyptians were following Charlie Kirk. or that the reason why there were foreign registered phones at a leftist campus that probably has a ton of fucking foreign students there. Okay? And that Charlie Kirk is a big draw, and that the reason why, like, things are explainable, easily explainable. And just to, I don't know, I just don't, I need more than just, I'm Tucker Carlson, I said thing, believe me. I need more than that. Much more. Caveat Ty saying, I don't like that. I don't like that Knowles is heavy Catholic religious stuff. I don't mind that he's coming at it from that worldview. I think you need to be careful on who you praise, right? Just because Franco was a staunch Catholic doesn't mean that everything Franco did was good, right? He's still a fucking fascist. So, I mean, I don't mind that he's heavily religious. I don't mind that, but praising the wrong people is never a good thing. Nachi saying flight data is public, however, not sure on the phone. Agreed. Caveat Ties updating us 38-35 Bears. Nate saying audits with flight data literally found a flag on a white wall to troll Shia LaBeouf. Just saying. Agreed. Absolutely. They found that, and that here's the thing, Nate. If I get proof, right? If I get proof, verifiable proof that Egyptians were following Charlie and there were the planes there and Charlie knew it, but whatever it is, I'm in, right? But so far Candace saying this is what I know and I've heard, and Tucker saying I can confirm. Who the fuck are they? If we're being right honest, right? Who are Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson to confirm any of that? Don't give me your source, but give me your proof. You can give proof without revealing a source. Even if they work for an agency, you can black out names and shit like that and give us the proof. We're demanding that burden for the Epstein files, which we should be, right? The Epstein files are a whole other can of worms I'll talk about later, because that's going to be ongoing, and it should be ongoing, because this will be the biggest black eye and blemish on Donald Trump's presidency is the Epstein files, as it should be. But I need the proof. That's what I need. Caveat Ty saying, I'm just the opposite end of the Protestant perspective. Listen, I get it. I was raised Roman Catholic. After being a history major, I can't be Roman Catholic anymore in that sense. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm 100% a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the writings and the teachings of the Bible. Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior. All that. Christ is King. I'm all in that. 100%. But what I know about the Catholic faith, how it's been a political party for millennia, it is hard to continue to follow Catholics per se. Now, I won't say exactly where I am in terms of Protestantism, because I find myself looking at a bunch of Protestants and being like, they're fucking crazy too, right? So I'm not a Lutheran. I'm not necessarily a Lutheran. I'm not necessarily, I fucked around with the Presbyterian thing. I don't know. I'm a believer in Christ. Believe in God, the creator. I believe in the writings and the teachings of the Bible, and that the divine hand of God were in the disciples when they wrote it, right? In the New Testament, and that the divine hand of God helped write the Old Testament. But outside of that, I mean, just after being a history major, I can't fully be a Roman Catholic anymore. But I will always, always, always appreciate the moral grounding, the moral fiber that I got from the Catholic priest, which shout out to Father Bernie over in St. John's over at in New Jersey, where I was from, in Lakehurst. Father Bernie is fucking awesome. Absolutely fantastic man. Could talk to him about anything. I can't say I was like heavily invested in talking to him and things like that, but every interaction I ever had with Father Bernie over at St. John's was a positive one. I never had a negative one. He was a good preacher of the faith. He knew his verse. He tried to make it interesting. for kids like me and things like that, especially going through CCD and stuff like that. But it's just, again, the history side of things. Like, it's just learning about how it's been used as a political arm. And even if you look at today, the Pope is still a politician in so many ways. In so many ways. I get it. The Pope is the leader of the Catholic Church. What the Pope says, the Catholics need to kind of do. And his appointments have merit and things like that. And he's one of the most important figures in the world is the Pope. Because as Judeo-Christians in the West, what the Pope says in terms of Catholicism has a ripple effect on Protestants. It always will. Catholicism will always have the ripple effect down on all the other Christian denominations. That's just a fact. And it's something that if you're a non-Catholic, you have to deal with. But for me, myself, I'm fully a Christian. And I think, and I'm not going to like put myself into a box of where I am. In terms, again, I guess in terms of my teachings and my foundation, it's still 100% in the Catholic realm because that's what I knew. But I'm not fully a Catholic. I'm not a practicing Catholic. I'd have a whole lot of fucking confession to make if I ever tried to enter back into the Catholic Church. That's just where I'm going to leave my faith there. Nate saying, yeah, I tend to agree. I just found it interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's okay. I find it interesting. And it is interesting, right? Because if Egyptians were fucking following Charlie Kirk, why? If that number of foreign phones in the area at a college, at a university that is, a left-leaning university and probably has a fuck ton of foreign students, if that's an odd number of students to be congregating in one area with a foreign phone, why? Okay? That's okay. Asking why is okay. It's fine. But asking why, but then never producing the proof as somebody who is trusted is wrong. It's you fucking with your viewers. It's you telling them to draw their own conclusion so that whatever conclusion they draw is correct because you didn't give them any proof. I think we need to start demanding the burden of proof from these people instead of just believing them. Because the bottom line is they're becoming more mainstream. Tucker was mainstream media, okay? He was. What was he? CNN, CNBC, or MSNBC? And he was Fox News. Obviously, they're mainstream. Fox News might be more on the right, but they're mainstream. Candace Owens was a fucking Democrat, okay? Who was doxing people during Gamergate. She sucks. So there's all that. Caveat Tai saying, I get that. Thank you. Nate saying, I'll find the clip though for sure. Maybe we'll watch it next time. Maybe on like Thursday or Friday. Because I'm probably getting out of here soon. Excuse me. Nate saying it's the Erica Kirk Raytheon connection, I believe was Candace's thing. Raytheon is huge in Arizona. Listen, I don't think Erica Kirk wasn't poor when she met Charlie Kirk. I think she was wealthier, from a wealthy family too. So I wouldn't be surprised if she had people on boards and places and things like that. I don't want to be surprised if Charlie was rubbing elbows with these people. I think it was obvious Charlie had higher aspirations than just being someone that ran TPUSA, right? Everyone's been saying, he was a future president, which means we probably were looking at him as a senator at some point first, right? So to find a connection with major federal lobbyists is not surprising to me. When you have these aspirations, you're going to want to rub those elbows. I mean, that's just the reality that we have to live in. So to make this big connection that Erica Kirk was new Raytheon people and there was a connection to Raytheon, and whether it was a long family connection or if it is a current one because Charlie has these political aspirations, or even if she has more aspirations, right? And she wants to set her family up for life. Listen, have we fleshed out all of Trump's connections? Have we fleshed out anything that Vance took after being a senator? Marco Rubio? Howard Lutnick's there. Howard Lutnick's a billionaire. What connections does Howard Lutnick have in the cabinet, right? Like Scott Bessent, like what connections does Scott Bessent have? Like we can get into all the weeds with all these people, but it's just who is it now? Who do they want now? And they keep on going after Erica. I feel terrible for Erica Kirk. I do. I think it's shitty what she's going through. I think the people online talking about how she's grieving are fucking assholes. People grieve differently. And what would you want Erica Kirk to just go and cry in a corner for months? And just let TPUSA, which is something her husband worked his ass off for, just fold and die? Or she's supposed to put on a brave face and go out and try and save it. And we don't know what she's doing in her private moments. We don't know if she's shedding tears every fucking day in her house. What this past Christmas was just like with her 2 young kids. And now their father's gone. Asking, where's daddy? On Christmas? And these ghouls are still going after her? I'm sorry. Listen, if it comes out that Erica Kirk is actually a terrible person, I'll eat all my words. But from what I've been seeing right now, with the way people are attacking Erica Kirk for trying to just lead her company, for putting on a brave face for her husband, who was murdered, assassinated on television. This is a video that her kids in a few years will be able to find, watching their father get a bullet to his fucking neck for having a conversation. And she is trying to hold this company together when it is fucking falling to pieces in front of our eyes. She's trying to be a mother. And these people, like Candace, like all these people online that are making fun of how she's grieving, fuck you. How she's grieving. God forbid any of these people ever have to see something or go through something half as gruesome as what she just did. It's hard enough losing a family member to old age or to or cancer or something that's fucking terrible, something natural. Imagine being nervous every single time your husband went in public to speak because he dared to say things people don't like, knowing that these leftists are violent, knowing that that is a possibility, that every single time he went out there, that same exact thing could have happened. But every single time he did it before, he was able to walk through that door and say, hey, they didn't get me this time, honey. I'm here. I love you. But then it happened and you watched it. You were able to see it. I can't. I can't with these people. These people online. I'm not going to fight with all of them. I don't fight on the internet. If you hadn't noticed, I leave my comments. Maybe I'll comment back once or twice, if that. But I don't fight with people on the internet. Mostly because they're bots. And second, because they're stupid. But just to take away that human aspect and to be such a fucking ghoul. And to try and capitalize on how somebody's grieving. You have to be a miserable piece of shit. That's all I got to say. If that's what you're doing with your time, is focusing on how Erica Kirk is grieving, but you care about how Charlie was killed and you want to get to the bottom of it, right? Fucking people. But with that cheeriness, I'm going to get out of here. But I also just want to say that right now, we are in the middle of our gubernatorial run is starting over in New York. And I just have to say, Elise Stefanik dropped out. I forget the guy's name. Blake something is running. What is his name? Bruce Blakeman's running for the Republicans now. He's a Nassau executive. I don't know Bruce Blakeman. But I do have to say, this man right here, I've had a conversation with. He has been on my show back in the day. I did the show called The Median, which I started out with, which was supposed to be me going on and playing devil's advocate with the guest. Whatever position they gave me their positions. They gave me a few things that they are passionate about. I researched, I played devil's advocate. It didn't work because there was only Republicans and people on the rightish coming on, very few people on the left. So it was never going to work out. If it was just a bunch of right people, me playing devil's advocate to them, it was going to be stupid. People on the left didn't want to come on. Shocker. But I've talked to Larry Sharpe before. Larry Sharpe is one of the most reasonable men I've talked to. He's a libertarian, but he's a libertarian that lives in reality. He'll say that himself. He's not an idiot. He knows how to talk to people, how to work with people. He's running again in 2026. I want to come out and say I'm endorsing Larry Sharpe for our New York governor. I'm not a libertarian. I believe most libertarians are pretty fucking retarded in a lot of ways. I'm not going to lie. I like a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of them are decent. Obviously, we talked to Mike Tremont on the show. I like Mike a lot. I think Mike's a genuine person. I think a lot of them are genuine. I think Larry is one of the best, if not the best, out of all of them. And I want Larry to win. And I want to put whatever small weight I can behind Larry so that Larry can get the win. So please, if you're not already, go follow Larry Sharpe right over there at Larry Sharpe, SHARPE. And in whatever way you can, if you can support him for governor, whether it's monetarily, whether it's just sharing, whether it's going on the Sharpe Way and telling him to keep going, because he has the Sharpe Way podcast right here. Go support this as well. But please go support Larry Sharpe. And like I said, I am giving it. I don't know Bruce Blakeman. I don't give a fuck about Bruce Blakeman. I wasn't big on Elise Stefanik to begin with, but I want Larry Sharpe to be my next governor. So I am putting my weight, like I said, my little weight behind him to be the next governor of New York, because I think Larry is a reasonable guy. I think Larry would run this state the way it's supposed to be run. And I think that he will show that small government can win and that small government can get things done. So I like Larry a ton. I mean, he's a good guy, great dude. I would love to have Larry back on the show. I think I'm in connections and works to try and get him back on the show. So I'm thinking that's something he'll come on this show officially, and I will tell Larry officially he's a person that I want to be my next governor. But this is my official endorsement of Larry Sharpe. Whether he wants it or needs it or not, this might not help him. But this is my unsolicited, because Larry didn't ask me to do this, but my unsolicited endorsement of Larry Sharpe for governor of New York. So I want Larry to win. Larry's a good dude, and I think he'd be an amazing governor. But all right. Outside of that, Nate G saying spot on. Nate G also saying libertarians are the canary in the coal mine in the most autistic way. They spot the problem first. I mean, listen, here's the thing. Nate, go listen to Larry speak. Go to the Sharpe, go watch the Sharpe Way, or go just watch clips, Nate. You'll like Larry a ton. Because Larry, like I said, he's not a retarded libertarian. He understands that the real world exists. He understands that you can be idealistic, but you can't be so rigid in your ideals that you don't move away and move into the real world with them. So I really think that you, Nate, especially in your leanings and how you go onto Larry's Twitter page, watch a bunch of his clips. I really think you'd like Larry a lot, and you'll understand why I'm endorsing him for governor over Bruce Blakeman, and even I would have done it over Elise Stefanik. I like Larry a lot. Caveat updating us saying Bear's driving. But on that note, I'm also driving the fuck out of here. It's time for me to go. I appreciate everyone for watching, listening, wherever you're watching or doing all that type of stuff from. YouTube, Rumble, Kick, X, Facebook. I appreciate you all. Nate, Caveat, always appreciate you guys. Caveat, looking forward to talking to you on Tuesday, bringing you on, having a great show. Like I said, tomorrow night I won't be on. I'll be doing Talking in Ovals. Go gravitate there if you want to hear me talk some more in a different way, just about track and field, not about politics or anything else, just track and field stuff. So, everyone, I appreciate you all. I will see you guys on Tuesday. And then after that, decide when the fuck I want to come back. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later. So long.